MP Alan Brown has lashed out at the Tories after figures revealed that 5,500 people in Kilmarnock and Loudoun were forced to rely on food banks last year. The total represents an increase of 670 on the previous year's figures and includes 3,643 adults and 1,857 children. Kilmarnock and Loudoun MP Mr. Brown said, "It's a disgrace that families are having to rely on emergency food parcels just to get by. Millions of families across the UK are suffering from a Tory pay cut, as rising prices, stagnant wages, and cuts to social security continue to squeeze living standards and push households into poverty, debt and crisis." The figures from the Trussell Trust show that the problem is getting worse, with food bank usage rising year on year. Tory policies are making it harder for families to cover even the basic costs of food, housing, and bills. Families cannot afford another year of Tory cuts. It is vital that the UK government finally takes meaningful action to boost incomes. This must include delivering a real living wage, ending the public sector pay cap, and reversing the benefits freeze to help ensure families have enough money to live on. The news of increased food bank use comes just months after it was revealed over a quarter of children in Kilmarnock and Loudoun are living in poverty. The statistics, released by Unchild Poverty, show a total of 4,944 in the parliamentary constituency live below the breadline. And these latest stats from the Trussell Trust show the extent of poverty as a whole in this area. Tory list MSP Brian Whittle urged caution in considering the negative impact in food bank use as he praised the work of staff in the centres across the area. He said, "Any rise in the number of people using food banks is disappointing, but it's worth remembering that this is just one year's number." In 2015-16 the figure for East Ayrshire was significantly higher than it was in these most recent figures. People can end up at a food bank for a whole range of reasons, and we need to remember that when we ask how to reduce food bank use long-term. From my own experiences speaking to staff and volunteers in local food banks, I know how hard they work to support people who come to them for help. Often that help isn't just a food parcel. Food banks can also offer advice on how to cook healthy meals on a budget or provide guidance to people looking for help to manage their finances. The number of people using food banks might vary year on year, but the important thing is to see fewer and fewer people using them over the long term. There are a number of ways we can do that, but for me the key is to connect different services and make it as easy as possible for someone in need of help to get it. Dirty Weekender is coming back to Ayrshire. Here's how to grab tickets. I'll be speaking to the Trussell Trust and local food banks to see if there's more that I can do to help. In this, Craig MacArthur, head of finance and ICT at East Ayrshire Council, added, "It is clear from the Trussell Trust figures that the use of food banks across Scotland has increased year on year. We started to see food bank use increase locally in 2014 and ensured that we were working closely with the Citizens Advice Bureau (CAB) and the Council of Voluntary Organisations (CVO) to help those in need. Our focus was upon helping to provide advice and support to people who are using food banks, helping to increase their income through benefit maximization. Until earlier this year, we had witnessed a significant decline in the number of people using food banks locally. In February, the Council took the decision, recognising the early impact of Universal Credit full-service rollout and increased food bank usage, to allocate £160,000 to the CAB and the CVO to continue their work to help reduce dependency on food banks and to provide additional services around the welfare reform agenda. A further £72,000 was also earmarked for free sanitary products for pupils in schools across East Ayrshire, which will be rolled out this month, and free lunches will be provided again this summer as part of the Active Schools summer holiday program. East Ayrshire is also one of only 3 local authorities in Scotland to participate in the A Menu for Change project, which is funded by the Scottish Government. Running over 3 years, the project will work to identify how food bank usage can be reduced nationally. We are proud to be working with the CAB and the CVO on this very worthwhile project. We recognize that there are pressing needs within our local communities. We are committed to helping people who are in crisis and who are facing the reality of using a food bank.